Wanna play?
Wanna play? Wanna play? Wanna play? Wanna play?
Wanna play?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Wanna Play. My name is James McKenna, and today we're doing another viewer requested video. Today's viewer requested video comes from this comment right here, and what they want to see is basically me going over Rotten Tomatoes reviews of horror movies and seeing whether I agree or disagree. So a few days ago, I put up a community post on my community tab asking you guys, what horror movies do you want me to see check the reviews of? And I'm going to go through every single one that you guys commented and seeing whether I agree or I disagree. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. But guys, before we get into this, I just want to remind everybody that it's almost killing time. As soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers, and right now we're at 990 as I speak, so 10 freaking subscribers less. 10 more. Did I say less? I meant to say 10 more. 10 more subscribers. And it's killing time again. Another giveaway, it's in the works. I already explained the rules. All you gotta do is be there, and you'll automatically be entered, and you might win a prize. I don't know what the prize is going to be yet. Mike is going to choose something, and I think I'm going to choose something too, and we're going to send both things to the winner, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a really cool concept. I have this thing in mind that I want to do with it. We're going to do a top 10 list of top 10 greatest horror movies of all time. It's going to be me, Mike, and our other friend Ryan Perez, aka Ryan the Wicked here on YouTube. And the three of us are going to go through and we're going to make a giant list of all our favorite horror movies, cut all of them until we get to 10, and then order them from the top 10. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be really debate heavy. There's probably going to be some arguments here and there, and we're going to take lots of suggestions from the chat too. So if you want to be there and you want to participate in us counting down the top 10 greatest horror movies of all time as objectively as we possibly can, then join us for killing time. But first, we gotta get me to 1,000. So all we need, 10 more subscribers. So share this video with anybody that you think would subscribe, and let's get there. So let's get into the video. So our first movie comes from F. Elena Finnegan, and she wants to see me check out the reviews for Jeepers Creepers. So let's see. Jeepers Creepers 3 at a 17%. Sounds about right. Jeepers Creepers 2 only at a 24. I don't know, it's better than that. And the original only having a 46. Wow, it's interesting. See the reviews for this, why it's that low. Critics' consensus. Jeepers Creepers has a promising start. Unfortunately, the tension and suspense quickly deflates into genre cliches as the movie goes on. I mean, I can kinda see that argument because it does get a little cliche, but I mean, it doesn't stop being creepy. The movie overall is one of the creepier movies that I've seen, so I have to disagree with this. Let's check the reviews for it. Alright, so we got a couple good ones, couple bad ones. It's about half, because it's 46%. It rounds up pretty much to 50. So it's about half and half. Let's check the top critic reviews. So Stephen Hunter thinks that it's pretty good. He says, if the reptile brain in you, that ugly little cluster of cerebral cells where all destructive urges lie, needs to get a jolt, Jeepers Creepers offers you such a treat. Pretty good way of describing it. Somebody else says an unsettling, gory, but intelligent horror flick. It's pretty good. All these are top critics, like the top tier reviewers right here. And then here's some of the negative ones. Moira McDonald says, feels too rote to inspire real terror. What? Bob Graham, Jeepers Creepers is better setting things up than following through. It must resort to psychic mumbo-jumbo that is played straight and doesn't work. No, I gotta disagree. Yeah, some of these guys, I don't know, they don't really know what they're talking about here. I'm gonna have to disagree with this rating. I think it should be a little bit higher. Let's go to the next movie. So the next one also comes from F. Elena Finnegan, and she wants to see Ghostbusters. So, the original has a 97, sounds about right. 2016 Ghostbusters has a 73. Excuse me? Ghostbusters 2 only has a 53, that's alright. Ghostbusters Afterlife, oh that's a good one. The new one, it's pretty good. 63, I'd have to rate that one higher, I gotta be honest. But let's check the 2016 one, why is it rated so high? Ghostbusters does an impressive job of standing on its own as a freewheeling, marvelously cast. Alright, Rotten Tomatoes, whatever you say. Supernatural comedy, even if it can't help but pale somewhat in comparison to the classic original. Somewhat? I'm sorry, what? Audience score is a 49. That's about right. Check the top critic reviews here. Ghostbusters is fun, silly, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. Yeah, that's the point of Ghostbusters! Alright. Soraya Nadia McDonald says, frankly, if you're gonna make a new Ghostbusters with a female foursome as the leads, and you're facing backlash from dungeons of the women-hating internet, it seems like it would make for an epic opportunity to troll them. What? So she's kind of saying, why wouldn't you use the female cast to troll people who don't like females? I mean, okay, I mean, she has a negative review, which I agree with, but, like, that doesn't make any sense. It's funny and nuanced in its funnies. Hez to has lols. Alright, Megan Garber. Whatever you say. Next up, they want to see Tremors, and if they review Tremors negatively, might have to end the video right here, because I'm going to be too angry. You can't review Tremors and have it be negative. Just can't happen. 86. Alright, that's pretty good. What are the sequels at? Shrieker Island, the newest one, 44%. 6, A Cold Day in Hell, 40%. Tremors 5 and 4 don't have ratings. 3 is an 80. Kind of surprising. 3 is not my favorite. Tremors 2 only has a 50. That's surprising right there. Let's see what the ratings for Tremors 2 are, because I thought that was like a universally beloved sequel. Mike Massey says the same type of humor is used for this direct-to-video sequel, which is bland enough to distract from the otherwise thrilling nature of the underground Leviathans. So he's saying that the humor is distractingly bad, so bad that it takes away from the awesomeness of the Graboids. I mean, okay, what about Laurie Hoffman? Old as dirt! Yet another bad sequel. It's the first one. It's Tremors 2. What are these people on? Fred Topol, not the worst straight-to-video sequel possible, has some fun moments. Checking the top critics' reviews for Tremors, rated at an 86. The top one, Ty Burr, says Tremors is the slacker of monster movies, bemused, improvisatory, and willfully low-key. Alright. Steve Simmels. Unlike the typical movie homage, Tremors actually improves on the B-movies that inspired it. That's pretty good, I guess. How about Variety Staff? That's a whole, company. That's not even a dude. Tremors has a few clever twists, but ultimately can't decide what it wants to be. Flat out funny, which it's not, or a scare fest. It doesn't try to be scary. When does it? It's not really a horror movie, it's not a horror movie I don't know, Amityville Horror, where it's trying to scare you, but it's not like a full-on horror comedy. It's almost like a kiddie horror movie, if you really think about it. It's rated PG-13, it's not rated R, so I don't know if this guy is just, petrified of everything to the point where Tremors scares him, but whatever you say, Variety Staff. Next up is Gremlins, which looks to have an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. Pretty good rating for that film. Fucking tall man, always falling down. Whatever, dude. Well, now you guys get to see a better look at my Universal Monsters collection up there. Pretty cool. Anyway, Gremlins. Critics' consensus. Whether you choose to see it as a statement on consumer culture or simply a special effects heavy popcorn flick, Gremlins is a minor classic. It's one of the greatest Christmas films of all time, but we'll skip past that. It is a wacky, satirical spectacle of chaos. Sounds about right. Oh, and Variety Staff back at it again. The humans are a little more than dress extras for the mechanics. What? Alright, Variety Staff. You guys just not like movies? The humans are little more than dress extras for the mechanics? So you're saying that the movie called Gremlins focuses on the gremlins too much. Wow, didn't expect that. Piss off, variety staff, I don't want to see you again. Our next couple suggestions comes from Danielle, and the first one that she suggests is Cabin Fever. So I've never seen Cabin Fever, so you guys are gonna need to let me know if this is true or not, but the critics' consensus is more gory than scary. Cabin Fever is satisfied with paying homage to genre conventions rather than reinventing them. You guys think that's true? You guys think it deserves a 62%? Let's check some of the reviews. I've never seen this, so again, you guys are gonna have to let me know. James Russell, definitely unforgettable. It's destined for cult classic status. It's pretty good. Richard Roper.
Citizen Kane, Star Wars, It's a Wonderful Life. These titles often show up on lists of the best movies of all time, but I say they belong in the Museum of the Overrated.
Says ... disgusting and brainless. Really? You're still trying to ride the wave of Roger Ebert's coattails, even though he called Alien like a horrible film and he didn't like it, but then realized that it was actually really good and like a cult classic, and erased his original review and re-reviewed it in the early 2000s to make it seem like he's always liked the movie. Yeah, if you didn't know about that, Google it. Next, she wants to see Ginger Snaps, which I swear to God, if this movie has a bad rating, fingers crossed. 89%. That is what I'm talking about, Rotten Tomatoes. This is seriously one of the most underrated werewolf films of all time, and it deals with more than just werewolves and what it would be like to become that. It's really good, like, kind of coming of age story about this pair of siblings, and one of them kind of, you know, grows up and starts going to parties and making more friends, and her little sister, she's not really there yet, so she kind of like gets jealous. It's a really good kind of film when it comes to that, and like what happens when an older sibling kind of outgrows the childish things when the younger sibling hasn't yet. So I think this is a great film. Critics' consensus: the strong female cast and biting satire of teenage life makes Ginger Snaps far more memorable than your average werewolf movie or teen flick. 100% agreed. The number one positive review, Leah Pickett. She says, the sharp feminist narrative makes up for the admirable but underwhelming werewolf makeup and other practical effects. I mean, I wouldn't call the werewolf makeup underwhelming. I mean, it's no American Werewolf in London, but it's still pretty good. So I'm gonna have to disagree with a little bit there, but I definitely do agree with her big, you know, overall good review. Let's see, the only negative review comes from this dude, Ray Conlog, and he says, the ideas are thin and scene by scene execution of them is bumbling. No, it's not. No, they're not. What do you want about, Ray Conlog? Next up, The Blair Witch Project. 86%. Alright, I'm a big fan of this. I know that some people aren't. Some people think that this is overrated because, I don't know, it makes them nauseous or something, but I'm a big fan. Critics' consensus: full of creepy campfire scares, Mock Doc, The Blair Witch Project, keeps audiences in the dark about its titular villain, proving once more that imagination can be as scary as anything on screen. I agree. It's a very good critics' consensus from Rotten Tomatoes. Top critics, the number one is from Joe Morgenstern, and he says, the scariest shots from someone's little high-8 camcorder document the students losing their bearings, giving way to panic, and finally falling victim, though off-screen, to some ineffably, unphotographable evil presence. Is that a word? Unphotographable? Alright. The top negative review comes from Kirk Honeycutt, and he says, the viewer never glimpses anything more than a shadow of a clever move. What? The viewer never glimpses anything more than the shadow of a clever movie. So he's saying that the movie is clever, but you don't see anything, like you don't see the villain. That's why the movie is clever, because it's scary without seeing the villain. this guy's like disagreeing with himself on his own report and just slapping a negative on there to look cool. Alright, suit yourself, Kirk Honeycutt. Next up, Danielle wants me to check the reviews for May. And again, I've never seen this movie, so you guys are going to have to let me know in the comments whether this is true or not. But it's got a 69%, and the critics' consensus is above average slasher flick. That's it. I mean, again, you guys are going to have to let me know if this is true or not. The top critic review comes from Nick Shager, and he says, benefits from bursts of glory black humor as well as Bettis's riveting performance. Does she have a riveting performance? I don't know because I've never seen it. And then the top negative review is from Gary Dowell. It says, too much of a hodgepodge of borrowed ideas and uneven tone. Is that true? I don't know. What is this guy saying? Lisa Kennedy, part Carrie, part Frankenstein, and still schlockier bits and pieces. May isn't seamless, but boy is it hard to avert one's eyes from this creature ready-made for the midnight movie circuit. Well, if it is part Carrie and part Frankenstein, I'm gonna have to check it out, because those movies are fantastic. And then the final movie that Danielle wants me to check out is Hatchet. So let's check it out. 55. I mean, alright, if you're gonna have, you know, Hatchet, I would have expected this to be lower. I'm gonna be honest, because I mean, really all it is Victor Crowley ripping people's heads off and ripping people's heads apart for like 80 minutes. There's not really a lot to this. So a 55 it's better than I expected. Critics' consensus, over-the-top gore, campy acting, and dim cinematography may be part of Hatchet's self-described old-school ethos, but irony alone can't sustain a horror film. I get where they're coming from, saying like, you know, just irony and just having, you know, this try to be like an old school horror film doesn't usually work, or it shouldn't, but I have to disagree with them in saying that it doesn't, because I think that it does. It's not my favorite movie, it's not even my favorite movie in the Hatchet franchise. I think that Hatchet 3 is actually better, but we'll see the reviews. So the top critic review is from Joshua Rothkopf, and he says, see, this is the kind of stuff that kind of gets me mad. Like, when I'm talking about, I don't know, like YouTube comments. It's stuff like this where it's like, you're wrong. It's bad. Nope. False. Incorrect. So one time I got a comment saying that the newer George Romero Living Dead films are better than the older ones. Proven fact. And that's it. Like, tell me why it's wrong. Don't just say wrong. Like Donald's wrong. It is wrong. No. Tell me why. And then Marianne Johansson says, lacking the satirical bite of the first Scream, this is mere... what is that word? Pastiche? What does that mean? That doesn't even wink at what it is pointlessly Xeroxing from the past. Maybe because it's not ripping on Scream. Maybe because, you know, it's ripping on Friday the 13th. And The Burning, and Madman, and movies like that, where it's like actual big dudes going around killing everybody. Not Scream. How do you get Scream from Hatchet? Alright, Marianne Johansson. Anyway, the top positive review is from Tim Roby in the UK, and he says, fun horror comedy about tourists being picked off in the swamps. Tongues are firmly in cheeks, heads don't stay long on shoulders. I like that. I like how you worded that, Tim Roby. Appreciate you. Next up comes from Chandler. Chandler himself? This guy? Wow, I'm pretty famous around these parts. But he wants to see me look at the entire Friday the 13th franchise. Let's check him out. So I'm probably not gonna, like, check through the reviews of all of them. I could do that as, like, its own kind of separate video. This could be the start of a new series where I kind of, like, review the scores of like different movies and different franchises, so I'll save that for if I ever do that video, but I'll look at the scores of them individually. So they're all in different orders, but we'll see. Friday the 13th 2009, the remake, 26%. Could be a little bit higher than that. It's not my favorite, but it's not 26% bad. Jason Takes Manhattan, 12. Alright, I mean, look, I'm a bigger fan than most people of Jason Takes Manhattan, so if it was me, I would rank it higher, but I understand you know, why everybody else would think that it would be a 12. So I mean, I think that 12 is I guess fitting, because so many people don't like it. So I mean, whatever. Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, at a 32. That's wrong. That's my favorite. That's my favorite of the series. That's wrong. I'm sorry, guys. Part 6, Jason Lives, 46%. I mean, yeah, I'd say it's around there. You know, 46 up to like 50%. I mean, again, it's the opposite of Jason Takes Manhattan. I'm not the biggest fan of this, while pretty much everybody else thinks that it's like one of the best in the series. So if it was me, I'd say yeah, about around there. But everybody else, I mean, I understand why people like it more. A New Beginning at an 18. Ugh. No. New Beginning is one of my favorites because even though it's not Jason, even though it is, it's a big dude in a hockey mask. It's Jason. He gets some of the best kills, and he gets the most kills out of the entire series. Like, there's barely any filler in this movie. It's just kill, 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 just like that. So I think that for a Friday movie, it's way better than 18. And the final chapter only at 19. Good lord. No. Part 3 at 7. It's interesting to me that Part 3 is actually the lowest rated of the whole series. Like, 7? Wouldn't have expected that. Part 2's got a 27. I would have, you know, put that higher. I like Part 2. And the original's got a 63. That's actually pretty interesting. The number one highest rated and the only one in the tomato meter that's fresh is the original. I mean, I agree. I actually like the original. It's another kind of one where a lot of people don't, but I do. Freddy vs. Jason at a 41%. I'd put it higher. I mean, it's Freddy fighting Jason. I mean, come on. Everything else, I mean, yeah, it's not the best. It's not as good as it could have been, but, I mean, 41% is a bit much. Jason X at 19. Yeah. I mean, Mike's gonna kill me, but yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. And then again, Jason Goes to Hell at 16. I mean, fine. It's probably my least favorite in the series. I would have had it the lowest rated, but that's just me. I mean, it's alright. The next couple come from the Brodator, and he says first, the Friday the 13th franchise, which you just saw. But the next one, interestingly enough, is Puppet Master 4. Check the ratings for that. I don't even know if there is going to be ratings for it, but we'll see. Yeah, there's no ratings and there's no critics' consensus because it's Puppet Master 4. So there's 4 reviews. So we'll see. Oh. Wait, what? Dennis Schwartz says stupid fun, but is still negative? Huh? Okay, and then there's 2 that are just 2 out of 5, 1 out of 5, and that's it, from Walter Chaw and John J. Puccio. And then Alex Sandel says, this is when the series went to hell. Sad, after the inspired 3rd Puppet Master. No, it's not. For my money, Part 7 is where it goes. I mean, a lot of people say Part 6, but I kind of like Part 6, Curse of the Puppet Master. Retro Puppet Master is where it just... no. And then the next one is just a highlight reel of the rest. I mean, whatever. Let's see the verified audience reviews, because there's got a 33%. And there's no verified audience reviews, so let's just check all audiences. RP, Puppet Master 4, a film that is not the worst in the series. It isn't as good as the first couple. The movie felt open-ended or ended all of the sudden. In all fairness, though, the filming of 4 and 5 happened back to back. Let's hope the next part is good or better. Alright. I mean, alright. This guy, Pedro Miguel D, says, the movie is bad. I respect that. And I respect that opinion. I like you, Pedro Miguel D. And then this guy wrote a whole friggin' essay about why he thinks it's bad, which I won't bother reading because it's Puppet Master 4, and you shouldn't care that much. He also wants to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, personally my second favorite TCM film, and the film with my favorite kill of all time. So let's check it out. Hoping it's pretty good. Might not be. And it's a 47. It's better than I expected. I would have put it higher, because I think that this movie is great. But, I mean, 47, I mean, whatever. Critics' consensus, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 shocks with a gonzo blend of over-the-top humor and gore, but without tense atmosphere of its predecessor, the stakes feel lower. I agree. I mean, yeah. It shocks. I mean, yeah, it's got this crazy over-the-top, premise, and it's so much different from the first one, but it does lack, the scares and the tension and atmosphere of the original just because of that. But we'll check the top reviews. The top critic review comes from Nick Shager, and I like this one. Irresistibly demented, and that's all. And that's all that needs to be said. I agree. Roger Ebert, oh my god, what does this guy want? Part 2 has a lot of blood and disembowelment to be sure, but it doesn't have the terror of the original, the desire to be taken seriously. It's a geek show. That's the point! Do you think that Tobe Hooper thought that this was a scary movie? No! Get off. No! Our final film of the day comes from Logan Armitage, and interestingly enough, he chose Children of the Corn 2, so let's check it out. Good lord, 22% and then an audience score of 19. Sounds about right. I mean, I like Children of the Corn 2. It's like a guilty pleasure. It's definitely one of the better ones in the Children of the Corn franchise, but I mean, that's not really a difficult feat. It's the Children of the Corn series. We'll check the reviews. There's 9 of them. Check top critics, if there even is any. Mark Savlov and James Bernardelli. And they both say 0 out of 5, 0 out of 4. And the reasoning is... So yeah, both the top critics' reviews are negative. Let's check all critics and to see if there's any good positive ones. So the first one comes from Steve Newton. And he says, Corn 2. Corn 2? Alright. Whatever you want to say. Full score, Jesus, 0 out of 5. Corn 2 is so despicable that it makes the lowly Children of the Corn flick from '84 look good. Wow. So he's saying it's so bad that it makes a decent horror movie look decent. Alright, Steve Newton. And then the top positive review comes from Stefan Berger Stevens. All in all, it is entertaining, which is more than that can be said about the first one. That one suffered from uncontrollable dullness, which makes The Final Sacrifice a sequel that is better than the original. That isn't a high mark, which I agree with, but it's something. I mean, alright. I mean, yeah. It's better than the first, but the first wasn't very good. I agree. I agree. I like Alex Sandel. For some reason, I found this movie okay. Fair enough. My computer wasn't screen recording any of that the whole time. Lovely. Alright, so this video is going to turn out a little bit different than I thought it would, but we can handle that. We'll deal with it next time, but let me know what you would like to see from this series next, if this does turn into a series. Whether it be me checking the reviews for Friday the 13th movies, or Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Child's Play, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let me know in the comments down below what you would like to see from this series next, and the one with the most likes, if this video does well, will be my next video for this supposed series, depending on how this video does. But thank you for watching this video. You can subscribe to this channel if you would like to, and you can also follow me on Instagram at JamesWannaPlay if you are interested. 1,000 subscribers and it is killing time, and also exclusive to this video, if you made it this far, you will know what my celebration is going to be for this channel. And that is a video that's over an hour long. I already have it completed and it's already uploaded to the channel, just waiting for me to get 1,000. The 100 greatest scenes in horror movie history. I'm going to premiere it so everybody can be in the chat when it happens. But yeah, it's over an hour long. It's crazy. And yeah, so 1,000 subscribers, you will get a live stream and a premiere of the top 100 greatest horror films of all freaking time. So, Thank you for watching this video. Goodbye and good night. Bang.